Ten crack commandments. All right, and we are live, I believe. We are live, but we are still lifeless. Speaking of that, we have heard from Word Life. He is indeed alive. But what was the last that you heard from him?
Just
give an update.
Send me the link.
He says send him the link.
Send me the link. Yeah.
Oh, I.
Well, not this is not today.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
when originally where we did the wellness check.
Yeah. So I sent him the link, but we'll see if he pops in or not. But until then, the show must go on. So it was a great week for you and for your New York Jets, or maybe not a great week, maybe a great day, because you had, as you said, obviously jokingly, the greatest corner in the league went down for the Dolphins. Jalen Ramsey suffered a torn meniscus and is apparently going to be out for the season now, it looks like, which is ridiculous. I would have assumed you tear a meniscus in the third week of July, you should still be ready to come back for the start of the season. But what do I know? I just had a torn meniscus before. But anyway. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that...
Have you been in the NFL, buddy?
Don't even get me started. So then on top of that, you had the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL also went down and was carted off of the field. Unfortunately, prayers up for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals fans. I hope he gets well soon, and I hope he is ready for the start of the season. They said that it was just a calf strain, but I don't know that I've seen somebody get carted off the field. I mean, didn't Rodgers have a calf strain a couple weeks ago? And he didn't get carted off the field. He didn't collapse in a heap, but
yeah,
in
a heap. Not heap.
I mean, he like limped around a little bit, but I don't recall him dropping to the floor and needing to be carted off the field. But some people are just built different, I guess. Anyhow, how are you feeling about the goings on in the NFL as of most recent?
I can't. In terms of the injuries, I'm going to stay away from that because karma. I don't need karma making a U-turn and making it back over this away. All right. So let's hope all of these players get to full speed. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no excuses or anything like that. Joe Burrow. Without him, it's a team, but that's the guy that stirs everything over there with the offense. But it is concerning that it feels like he's always got some sort of ailment or something. But it doesn't take away from his performance, obviously, on the field. Jalen Ramsey, this is kind of what you sign up for when you start getting like the older players and stuff like that. He's been healthy most of his career, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say like maybe early,
except for when he was faking injuries to get off. The
back injury. So besides that, he's been pretty stable. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes these injuries start catching up, and that's a significant blow because really the Dolphins have made some moves, but the move that makes it make them the winners of the offseason with the Jets is the Jalen Ramsey trade, because they've upgraded in some but that's there's not it feels like every team's upgraded every year. No team goes in to the season thinking that they downgraded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like unless you're going in the rare case that's like Aaron Rodgers, where you go from even if he hasn't been a contender in a couple of years, you go from Aaron Rodgers being an automatic contender just because you have Aaron Rodgers on your team to like Jordan Love and like maybe cautiously optimistic. Let's hope he's good. So I mean, besides a case like that, I mean, that it doesn't really happen that often. So for the Dolphins to have like their shiny new toy per se, and the big splashy name of how in terms of like if he's been rated given his previous past couple years. I mean, it's big, it's huge. I mean, I mean, I can imagine Dolphins fans. I haven't seen Dolphins fans' reaction, but I could assume if they're anything like the Jets fans, which they are, but they pretend not to. They act like they're not, but they're just as terrible. And that they're probably in shambles right now because this is like shit. Like we just got this. This is the guy that was going to put us over the top. Um, Super Bowl champion, best cornerback in the league, at least on reputation. And for him to start off the season like that, you already know even if he misses those weeks, you got to add. He's out for a couple months. Then you got to add like let's say a month to where he's getting back, and maybe after that, maybe by the middle of the season to the end of the season, he's rounding back into shape. But I mean, you can't count on that. And um, if any, besides wide receiver, if they could probably take a hit at cornerback more than any other position. But still, that's not what you want. You want week one, you want all your guys gunning. You know what I'm saying? And it just feels like it's getting off on the wrong foot there. So, and in terms of Joe Burrow, like I said, like if anything wrong with him, that just might as well scrap the season. It's done.
Indeed. Now, Dalvin Cook, do we expect him to be a Jet by the weekend?
I mean, I'm not really thrilled about the whole Dalvin Cook situation. I know that that he actually may be a necessary piece only because you know how the running back situation is. Although the running back with Brees Hall coming off the injury, you want to ease him in, and we saw what happens when you rely on Michael Carter. He's a good complementary back. He's not a workhorse, and neither is Bam Knight. So it's like it doesn't seem like something that you need, but you might out of all the positions, maybe that's the only available upgrade. Like there's not many positions where you can upgrade by signing a free agent at this point. That's probably notwithstanding like Brees being a part of that, assuming that Brees isn't ready 100% week one. This is probably one of the only spots on any NFL team that you can probably upgrade immediately with a free agent acquisition. But I don't know if this puts a little pressure on the Dolphins to make a splash reactionary move. Given that they lost, so we got to do this. We got maybe they up their offer to Dalvin Cook, and maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe that's all he wanted. Depending on how he sees the situation, like the Jets and Dolphins. I'm not thrilled just because like I just never think that sort of stuff works. Like you can sign a splashy player or two, but once you start getting this like carnival, like everybody, all the super team, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like those Twitter memes where it's like the basketball, like who's stopping this team? Like that shit rarely works. We saw with the Eagles. I guess technically it worked with the Buccaneers and the Rams those 1 years, but I mean those are situations where everything clicked into place. And the allegations of the off-field stuff, it kind of leaves a weird taste in your mouth. Pause.
The Dalvin Cook off-field stuff.
In terms of upgrade, yeah. it's kind of, it kind of like, it makes it a little bit bittersweet where it's like, fine, but like, you'd rather not want to have to root for somebody like that.
Yeah,
If
no,
indeed that
definitely.
happens, if indeed that happens to be the case, you know what I'm saying? Because we just don't have anybody like that really on the team. It seems like they've consciously tried to stay away from players like that. But I think they're like not historically, but in the recent history, they've tried to stay away from players like that had those kind of off-field discrepancies, like discretions. But maybe this is the time where it's like kind of you like hold your nose, like you're going all in. You hold your nose and kind of, you know, look the other way and kind of like suck it up or whatever uh whatever cliche you want to use. And for the good of like, let's try to win it this year.
Now you bring up super team, which is ironic because there was a coach in the league that recently brought up super teams and some flaming hot take comments that Sean Payton made regarding the Jets and regarding the Jets OC Nathaniel Hackett. Sean Payton actually brought up the super team, or should I say the dream team, and he said, quote, "I can see it coming. Remember when Dan Snyder put the dream team together, and he doesn't think it's going to work out too well for the Jets." I don't know what prompted these comments from Sean Payton, but it doesn't really surprise me. Sean Payton has always low-key been a talker, and we all know that that meme of him, giving the choke signal. Unusual for a coach to kind of behave in that type of way, but Sean Payton seems to do his own thing. So how do you feel about Sean Payton's comments about the New York Jets and about former Broncos coach, his predecessor, Nathaniel Hackett?
Did he mention any of the super teams that he choked with? He didn't mention any of those?
Let's see, super teams that I choked with. I don't see that here.
Oh, okay. No, because I'm just remembering how many years in a row Drew Brees was the highest paid quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Alvin Kamara, Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan. Let's see what else they had with Melvin Ingram. We had Michael Thomas, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, the one of the best O lines in the league.
Mark
one
Ingram,
of the best,
right? Not Melvin Ingram.
Yeah.
Melvin
One
Ingram's
of the
in the
best
Chargers, right?
O lines in
He's
the league. One of the
guy?
best. Yes. He's a free agent right now, I believe. But former Raven, he's a Charger. No, he's a Ram. So I mean, maybe he's just putting it out there, speaking from experience. And God forbid the spotlight isn't on him, because we know how he did the old song and dance and dog and pony show when he was on, trying to appear and do all the commentary on TV, which he stunk at.
Him and Breeze both failed miserably at that.
Yeah, and then, when he was pretty much on dictating terms of like how he was going to come in and run the show, and his belief, he wasn't as popping as he thought he was going to be. So maybe he's a little bit embarrassed, or he should be embarrassed based off these comments and based off his performance when he's had one of the best teams in the league consistently over the past decade, and only had one title to show for, which was over a decade ago. So I don't know. Maybe he's just saying that he's speaking from his own experience, that super teams aren't going to work, and to take a shot at the guy got fired. Nobody argued that he was a good head coach, and you know what? You should thank him, because the only reason you have a job the only reason you got a head coaching job was because that they had to make a big splash. They had to make it work with Russell Wilson, and they were able to get rid of Nathaniel Hackett, and they pretty much strong. He's pretty much strong the Broncos, given the circumstances, into being the only candidate that could save face for them. So for him to be taking shots at a guy that, the guy, it's not something you do. It's like, his dad is well respected. It just seems like something corny. Like, it seems like something like no other team, no other, especially from like a Belichick, Parcells, Romeo Crennel, like that sort of thing. It doesn't seem like the guys that, like, they just beat you. They don't talk about, like, oh, whoa, look at what this guy did. Maybe he's just, maybe he's like, oh, remember how bad this team was? Yeah, we're gonna be pretty bad too. Like, I don't know. I like, maybe just being better than that is what he's aiming for, hoping that that kind of takes some of the stink off if he fixed, like, given that he's a quarterback whisperer and all that. But I don't know. It's just like really, dude. Like, you're supposed to be a Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion coach, and you're taking shots at, like, a guy who got one head coaching opportunity and it failed miserably. And you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, why? For what? Like,
well, it's interesting that you say that, because I've only seen the headlines and obviously the attention grabbing quotes, but I'm interested in reading this article and reading this interview that he did, and kind of getting a better understanding of what exactly it was that prompted him. What was the question? What was the reason for him to be speaking on the prior regime? I mean, I'm assuming he was asked in some form or fashion about, what it was like taking over after the previous regime. But I'm curious to know what the specifics in the question were that might have prompted him to have such a disparaging response. I've only so far seen just the really inflammatory quotes, but I don't know what, like you said, why he was so, because usually, the coaching fraternity tends to be one where they don't really, ever really talk bad about one another. So I'm curious, what it was that prompted this, but I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for the coaches
don't get me
talking trash to each other. I'm here for, listen, if you come into a team and you think that the guy did a crappy job and that he left you a total mess, go ahead and say it. Don't beat around and give some old, there's some things we got to change. You know what? If you think the guy did a shit job before you, let's hear you say that. I'm here for it.
But I mean, it's not deal with. If anything, he's going to benefit from the shit show that it was. So when you highlight how much of a shit show Sean Payton is, because I mean, unless it fails miserably, and then it's going to look double worse, because all you had to do is, you play your season, like, okay, we expect better than that. We had a lot of things to do, given, like, the stuff that was done in the past. You throw those little things out there to cover your neck. But now what you're saying is, no, this is going to be totally different. Watch. What he's saying is, watch this.
Yeah, I love it.
And we're gonna watch that, and we're gonna watch Russell Wilson. He's gonna tell Russell Wilson to do something. He's gonna scramble in the pocket, try to take off, and he's gonna revert back to exactly who he's been his whole career. So
you're forecasting you're forecasting what the Broncos are going to be next year, or this coming year.
Yeah, I mean, well, this looks like, you know what this looks like? This looks like almost the same. It almost looks like the same thing, but coach version, because he's the super team, with coaches. He's getting flied out. He's getting paid $20 million here. You know, Super Bowl champ, you got to kiss the ring. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming in to fix all of this. That guy was garbage. I'm the new guy in town. Things are going to be different. And watch how we do this here. And he's going to look like a bozo if he doesn't make it to the playoffs. And you're in a team. I mean, granted, they're probably the third or fourth best team with the Raiders, and you know it's the big bad sheriff.
They're the third best team. The Raiders are the worst team.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's the big bad sheriff in town. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come in and things changes. Like an idiot. You look like an idiot because.
Well, that's great. That's why I love it.
You know what? It wasn't the coach. Well, yeah. Well, I'm just talking like what it doesn't make sense for him to make that point. It's entertaining that he did, and it's going to be even that much more satisfying if he does fall on his face because he may be one of the most overrated coaches. And we talked about this during the offseason. He may be one of the most overrated coaches of all time.
Oh yeah. Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm the one that told you that Sean Payton. I was the first one to say
we
that
were first together. We were first together.
Sean Payton is Mike McCarthy with a better PR agent. I specifically said that.
And personal trainer.
The record states. Look at the record; it holds up.
The guy has a freaking movie about it. Like, get out of here.
Well, listen.
Like, talk about
how
attention.
Many fitteds and visors did Cheeks give that movie? Didn't he see? He said he saw it. He said it was great, didn't he? Or was it the Kurt Warner movie?
Well, I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Or both.
Whatever,
I don't remember.
Yeah. Double feature.
Yes.
It's the Barbenheimer version of.
Yes.
What the hell could you call that? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got some nerves, man. You got some fucking ego. If you're walking in there like chewing your gum, like get out of here, man. You're garbage.
Yeah, he's been living off of that halftime onside kick for way too long.
Yeah. What's my man's name? I don't know if he's passed away yet.
R.I.P.
Yeah, we're gonna do an RIP just in case, but shit, what's the man? ALS, the guy with the
Steve something. Steve. Oh man, this is gonna bother me. I forget that guy's name. Wasn't it Steve something? Well, anyway, I know exactly who you're talking about, and Sean Payton's been living off of that Super Bowl and that specifically. I feel like people, well, if it wasn't for that halftime onside kick,
Steve Gleason.
There you go.
There we go.
If it wasn't for that halftime onside kick, I feel like it was that specifically that call is what made people just launch Sean Payton over the moon. I feel like if it wasn't for that call, if it would have just been a regular, Saints come out on top, people would think of that much more. People would think much more of that as like the Drew Brees championship. Like people don't, like you look at like so many one ring coaches that don't get nearly the credit of Sean Payton. And I really believe that people were just so mystified. Oh my God, what the courage to call the onside kick. That was like that was his claim to fame.
You could argue that he's the only person in America that actually appreciates Hurricane Katrina. Honestly.
Well,
because that's what made it a bigger story, and it made him a bigger story.
Yeah,
and we all know how he likes that. It just looks like a buffoon. He's profited off of how big that was, because he's had plenty of other mishaps before, and he's always scapegoating people as well. Because with the bounty gate, nothing was his fault.
All right. Well, I will say.
So he's like, you know what? Honestly, you know what? Now I know. Now I know why he did this. Now, never mind. I don't not know why he did this or explain. I know why. This all lines up with his history of pointing the finger the other way. Look at that guy. Look at this. I'm great. No, that guy isn't. You know what? I know exactly what he was doing now. Lines up with his usual character. There you go. Congratulations.
Wow. Well, now that you have completely
Figured it out.
Now that you have completely buried Sean Payton, I sure hope that you guys don't lay an egg week 5.
Yeah.
So we'll take a little break. We'll take a little break. When we come back, I am going to have to speak on an unfortunate athlete domestic violence situation.
The new one?
A new one. An unusual one.
Why not? Where did it just come out? Okay. All right.
All right. And we are back. So, what the hell is this? AP. So, as I mentioned before the break, we have another unfortunate domestic violence situation in sports, but this time it is a WNBA related story. Rakina Williams of the champion Las Vegas Aces has been dismissed from the team. She was arrested for felony domestic violence charges involving someone who was identified as her wife. There's some kind of ugly details in this report.
No, finish up.
Well, no, I was just gonna say there's some ugly details in this report. There's an alleged choking situation. Apparently, there was from what I've gathered and from the information I've read so far, I guess she was accusing her partner, or had suspected of her partner of cheating, and then did the classic no, going through the phone. Apparently she went
confirmation
through her
bias.
Whatever, I guess, confirmed her suspicions, and she confronted her about it, and it turned into a physical violence situation. She choked her, and apparently something with a candlestick, something hit her with a candlestick in the courtyard, like a Clue game. Yeah, I haven't seen any photos or images of the damage that was done, but it just sounds like an unfortunate and an ugly situation. She's been removed from suspended from team activities. And
when you say is she technically still on the team, or is she just?
From what I gather, she's technically still on the team, but she's away from the team.
Okay, gotcha.
I guess the league's comment, the league's only comment thus far is that they are, it's the classic league comment that they're gathering more information or looking into it. One of those cliches. Yeah, I just saw that this just broke yesterday. Was when I first heard about it, so I don't know how much is known, but I did feel like it was necessary to at least bring it up, since we would have brought it up if it were any other pro athlete in a sport that we were discussing, and I have made it known that I'm a fan of the WNBA, so I just felt like I would put it out there. I think that they are handling it, from what I can see, it looks like it's being handled appropriately so far, but it's never something that you like to see. And as we were talking about before, it's just, I feel like there's some extra complications that come along with this kind of thing when you're talking about a league that you have it's much less of an unusual occurrence for players to be romantically involved with each other. This specific incident did not take place between two players. It was just one player, but I don't know why. For me, it just kind of has a different feel to it when you're talking about a league where you have, more than a few players who, are potentially involved with each other. We have Alyssa Thomas, who recently got engaged to her teammate DeWanna Bonner. Congratulations to them. But anyway, just putting that out there for right now, and I guess I'll have more to say about it if more is done or more is found out. But for right now, just commenting on the news of the moment.
You mean don't want a Bonner?
Don't want a Bonner. That just sounds way too much like Juana, man.
I know.
I don't,
When you said that, that's the first thing I popped in.
Yeah.
And that's, and it's a weird, and you know what I'm saying? And it's dangerous territory too there, because based on what the movie is
exactly.
about,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Like with the arguments that are happening in this country right now, let's get away from that. But well, I will say one thing. It's fascinating that even in a same-sex marriage involving two 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 women, the social construct of men and like husband and wife, it's still it's same sex assault on the wife, as if like the wife is supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like like even in a the social construct dictates even that in a same sex marriage there's still like the dominant
Yeah, the
and the
stereotypical
beta.
roles still exist.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's fascinating, not in this case, not particularly for good reason, but it's just fascinating that even if the struggles, like you said, for equality, even within its even when it's within its strive for equality, still suffers from certain levels of inequality in terms of like based on so like the status that you hold.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's man, Vegas. As much as I am a supporter of
Vegas,
pro
man,
teams,
you know what? Yeah, say it, say it.
as much as I'm a supporter of pro
Because I
teams
could.
being in Vegas, it just seems like Vegas just crazy shit happens in Vegas, man. We saw this guy. Who was the guy? Because I saw that there was I think it was a rookie receiver. What's his name? Addison. I shouldn't probably
Jordan
throw
Addison.
that was him. That's his name, right? He was the one that got caught
Yes.
speeding.
Yes. Did you see the update on that story?
I did not know. I just saw that he was
Okay.
speeding.
Yes, because I called. My son told me about that. I called. Not my son stupid. I called Jordan Addison stupid. There is a caveat. Um, Still stupid because equally bad things could have happened. I guess this excuse makes it a little bit more tenable and understand stupid regardless because nobody goes out with the intent to do anything when they're speeding. He said that his dog was having a medical emergency. It's still, it still may be a weak, it may be an excuse. It may be a weak excuse, but I mean, that does change the perception a little bit. Doesn't change how stupid, doesn't change how stupid it was. And you still have to grant, like you still have to hold that into future, you got to store it up there for, just in case something pops up in the future in regards to his decision making, because it's still never smart to do something like that, because you are putting other lives in danger for your own personal, uh, I don't want to say benefit, but for your own personal reason.
Now, this might
Regardless,
be a stupid
nobody got
question.
hurt. I don't know what the status of the dog is.
This is maybe a stupid question, but it's a serious question. When you say his dog, you mean like an actual dog, right? Not like a
Oh
friend
my
of his,
God.
not a human being.
No, not a human being.
Okay.
Honestly, it may have. I think people would have been far less receptive to the excuse, had it been his dog over
A human being.
his, yeah, over his pet.
Well,
So,
not me, but I know what you mean. But not me, because I don't care for dogs, as you know.
yeah, I could take him or leave him as well, um, but I'm regardless of what my personal feelings are, that's exactly what the case would be, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that would likely be the deal. But yeah, I mean, bad move, and especially, I mean, has he heard of Henry Ruggs? Has he? I mean, not to say that
Yeah,
he
no.
was drinking, but you know.
Yeah, and also like Henry Ruggs killed a dog. He killed a dog too. Like
Exactly.
you know,
These
you know
dogs,
what I'm
man,
saying? Like
they're menaces.
the,
These
you know what I'm saying?
mongrels.
Like these situations have a lot in common. The only thing different is the outcome. You know what I'm saying? Because had he crashed, and God forbid something would have happened to him, his dog, whatever, we'd have been having a similar conversation. So 140 degrees. It's just as dangerous
It
as
probably was
140
140
miles an
degrees
hour.
as he was driving. Just because this planet is just on fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's Minnesota, though. I mean, it's probably 140 degrees below zero.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Minnesota is everywhere is getting hot now. The only place that doesn't seem to be getting hot
Minnesota.
is New Zealand, because I was watching the Women's World Cup games, and I keep getting reminded every time they show the crowd in the stands. By the way, speaking of the crowd in the stands, I don't know if it's well. Let me just finish that thought. What I was gonna say is every time they show the crowd in the stands, there's people with scarves and hoodies and coats, and I'm like, oh damn, it's really that cold out there in New Zealand? They don't got summer right now? Like I don't. Maybe I'm stupid for not knowing that, but I'm checking the weather in New Zealand. It's like a high of 58. I'm like, damn.
Well, because I mean, I think that's how the planet works. Like the opposite counted from this, and then it switches, if I'm not mistaken. But who knows? I'm just a hack. Who has? You know what? Let me just.
Yeah, I don't know, but the other thing I was gonna say, I don't know how much Women's World Cup you've been watching, but I was watching specifically last night, but also some of the games prior. But the U.S. game last night, I don't know if it was the broadcast. I don't know if it's that Fox broadcast or if it was just the vibe in the stadium. But that was a weak crowd. My God. I mean, even when they showed the crowd, the stadium did not look full at all. You could not, like, when you watch, not even World Cup games, like if I'm watching a MLS game, there is, like, I feel like soccer games, football games, they have a very specific kind of energy to them that comes across on the broadcast. The nature of the sport in terms of being a no stoppage sport, a constant. There's the chants, there's the sounds, there's there's all every team, every country, every club has their own thing, whether it's drum beats, whether it's a chant, whether it's whatever. Everybody got something. Yeah, exactly. Everybody got something. I was watching that game last night, and I've been watching several of these World Cup games, and they have no juice. And again, I don't know if it's the fact that the broadcast is not, picking it up for whatever reason, but I'm watching, and I thought I was watching a COVID game. Like it just was it felt so dead.
Where was this game? Where was the game?
Auckland.
I mean, we are talking about a state country that appears to be the size of California. Seems to be I got the globe right here, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm gonna try to.
This is our geography segment. I'm sorry, I don't think it wasn't in Auckland, it was in Wellington.
Okay, well, this is Globey Bryant reporting to you from
Yo, Globey Bryant. Amazing.
Yeah. So basically this shit is far. So this is where my top finger is. That's where we are here in New York. And I'm gonna have to rotate 180 degrees.
Wow, look at this.
180 degrees
demonstration
to get to you said not Auckland, you said
Wellington.
That's far as shit. I'm gonna use I'm gonna use geometric terms. topography terms or whatever. Shit is far.
Yeah, I mean it's
Um,
further than Australia. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't
well,
know
yeah.
about this. I don't know about
Uh,
this joint. I mean, I can't really talk. I was gonna say I don't know about this joint host World Cup, but you know the U.S. is gonna joint host the next World Cup with Canada and
well, I
Mexico. So
mean, well, because it's a joint, what, Australia and New Zealand.
yeah,
You know, it's not. You still have to take a flight. It looks like a significant flight, at least. Uh, let's see what New York to DR is. Let's see. I'm gonna do this scientifically. New York to DR is about that far apart, and then we got, if we're talking about, the main cities, you're talking about probably what looks to be like a 2 hour to 3 hour flight. Um,
from New Zealand to Australia.
I mean, especially even could be further based on the uh the town, the city that you're coming from. So it's not close. It's a small country. I don't know what their infrastructure looks like in terms of airports. It's far away
Oh,
from,
it's
because
amazing
what there's two
infrastructure.
separate.
New
It's
Zealand, you
two
kidding me?
separate islands,
They have the
but we're
best
we're talking about
infrastructure.
we're talking about two separate islands. So you might have to, if they're on both islands, you might have to take a kangaroo hop
It's
from
about it's
Wellington.
about a It's from what I'm looking at right now. It looks like it's about a 4-hour flight.
So there you go. So it doesn't seem like an ideal place that would be conducive to large crowds, especially large crowds. Because this was Amsterdam they were facing, or who were they facing?
They were facing
The,
the Netherlands, Holland.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, you're talking about two countries that are very far away. Um, and it's and in women's sports, you don't get, you get passionate when it's closer to home, but once you get that far away, it's like, are people passionate enough to take that trip? And I mean, it doesn't sound that appealing, honestly.
Well,
I can't blame
I don't
anybody.
know. I think people are passionate enough to take the trip, but I don't know that people are passionate enough to take the trip to a place where they're in the dead of winter. That's the thing. I feel
I
like
mean, it's yeah, it's not just one thing, but when you stack up that many things, you know what I'm saying? It's like, usually, like, you go, like, when it's winter time, people go on vacation and they go to somewhere where it's hot. Nobody where it's cold, unless you're talking about like people in Florida that come for Christmas, and that's probably the only situation where you got people going reverse. But that's just me, and I'm hypothesizing.
fair and oh wow, Argentina losing at halftime. Speaking of Women's World Cup. Well, there goes my bet.
Women's soccer is so crazy just because the discrepancy in how serious a lot of these other countries take uh football, compared to how serious women's football as compared to men's.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird how when you compare, when you look at like, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you look at how dominant the
It
U.S.
is.
is when it comes to um, and it's funny because I was actually just thinking about what you're talking about. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about how when you talk about international sports that the world cares about, the U.S.
Mhm.
is, aside from basketball, U.S. men don't do well in any big international sports. Like, the US doesn't have the best baseball team internationally. I mean, they did well in the World Baseball Classic. They made it to the final, losing to Japan. But I don't think when you put together the World Baseball Classic rosters, the U.S. you don't ever really look at the U.S. like, oh, that's the team to beat. It's usually one of the Caribbean teams or whatever.
I mean, now, I mean, because you also got to think. I mean, the United States. First of all, there's obviously there's a lot of players. There's a lot of reasons for why that is, but I mean,
when
baseball? You compare the sheer size, with baseball, but when you compare the sheer size of this country compared to all the other countries and how stacked their rosters is, it's not even close. Like
in baseball.
Yeah, like you can fit the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico into New York State.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's weird how, like, when it comes to these sports, so many sports that are international, the U.S. men don't dominate in anything. But meanwhile, the U.S. women hold us down. Like, you look at soccer. U.S. women dominant, U.S. men flimsy. And then you think about, like, a sport like tennis that the whole world cares about. When's the last time there was a really big-time U.S. male competitor? Serena has been just completely holding the entire country of the United States of America on her back in terms of representing America in the tennis world. There is no man who has been even close to that type of representative. The last big-time men's tennis competitor we had was, what, Agassi? Sampras? Like, it's been forever.
Yeah.
Like, there's all these sports, and even golf. Like, I mean, obviously the U.S. still has big-time golfers, but they don't be dominating like that. Like, it's just interesting how, for whatever reason, when it comes to the women, the U.S. hold it down when it comes to international play. And men, they don't stack up in the same type of way.
I mean, you could argue that the only other dominant side when it comes to international sports would be men's U.S. basketball.
Well, that's what I just said.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They're like, it's only those two. Like, and
wait, what two? Basketball and what?
And women's soccer.
And women's tennis. Up until Serena retired.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's just. It's
how about
not
boxing?
Like, yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because even tennis and golf, that was just a superstar. You know what I'm saying? And they've done since that superstar. Granted, they've been lucky enough to also, on top of being superstars, they've also had the longevity. Like the Tom Brady, LeBron James level of longevity when it comes to Tiger Woods and Serena. Because had it not been for that and their long stretches of dominance, there's nobody behind them. So it's like,
yeah, but even forgetting about stretches, when's the last time we got to lean on Chris Eubanks to even have a male who even makes a run in a major when it comes to tennis? Like, we have not had a male even extreme hope and a dream hopeful in male tennis. At least on the women's side, there have been several women who have been competitive outside of Serena who have made some noise and who have done some things, won some majors. Like, this men ain't doing shit in tennis, American wise.
But also, it's always also like, who's the next Tiger? Who's the next Serena? And
But
none of them
even
end
the
up
next
being.
Tiger, they were trying to, for a while, they were trying to make the next Tiger Rory, and he's not American.
No, I know, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not for lack of effort, of exaggerating or accelerating the narrative.
Yeah, it's just
It's just
weird.
that they're not good. It's just not that they're just not good enough because, and the thing is, it's like, they're both American, but you know what? They happen to both be people of color. So it's not like, it's also that's another thing, and it's because like because the people who aren't normally, you in terms of being able to exhibit patriotism, that are the ones that are holding all of this up. Because when you get Tiger Woods, talk about all the basketball players, you talk about in women's soccer, you're getting women from all over, and in men's soccer, you're getting players from the U.S. men's soccer, you're getting players from that are technically all over from other places, and they get to hold up the American flag because that's what we do here. But it's not, you know what I'm saying? If it's not for them, then the situation would be even more dire.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me how, you know, on an international level in international sports, when you look at how women compete, U.S. women compete, they're competitive in almost everything, whereas the men, they're nowhere to be found. Like, it's crazy. Like even I mean, I haven't really followed the Olympics very closely in quite some time, but even if you think about Olympic sports, like look at like women's gymnastics, right? The US men's gymnasts don't have the reputation of dominating in the way that the US women gymnasts do. It's just always the women on the international level hold it down for the US, and the men are always just dragging behind.
Yeah, and this is yeah, and this is also the American arrogance.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's part of it. We pretend, we not pretend, but we pound our chest as the greatest in everything, and it's arrogance because we're not. And the people that hold us, and they and the also the players that are in the rare cases uh, that holding up the American flag while doing it are the people that don't necessarily get the privilege of throwing their Americanism in your face. Because as soon as they say something that doesn't jive with certain part of the citizens of this country that that happen to lean a certain way, they're treated as if they're un-American. So it's like, be thankful that you're representing the U.S. flag. Meanwhile, Americans should be thankful that they're representing the U.S. and exhibiting that level of dominance
Yeah,
while holding
exactly.
that flag up. So it's crazy.
It is crazy. And then you got people in America that are now suggesting that LeBron James' son, had a cardiac arrest because of the COVID vaccine. Because of course. Because of course
I
that's
thought that was a fact.
well, that's what I'm saying. You have people that are actually trying to deny it. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, it's so obvious that
Well,
this is caused by him and DeMar Hamlin and all the rest of them.
no, and it's crazy because DeMar Hamlin, in his case, he's actually dead.
I know. I can't believe that they see that clone of him and they actually believe it's still him.
Yeah, and
I
and
mean,
it's
give me a
crazy
break.
they were able to find a clone who's just as talented as him and good at playing football. It's pretty crazy, and it's pretty scary when you think about, like, somewhere they can find a clone that is exactly the same as you, looks wise and size, and has the same talent. But it's also crazy that same condition has killed plenty of kids playing baseball, and nobody's ever blamed vaccine for that for some strange reason. Um, because that since 1996, that same condition has taken over 220 lives in this country alone, and I'm gonna say most of them happened before the vaccine came out. But what the hell do I know? Um, I'm just making up numbers from the internet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, people they don't know what's going on. And the irony is that that USC had the same thing happen to a player last year. Like literally the exact same thing. Cardiac arrest, and turned out he was okay. He ended up playing, but he's not Bronny James, so nobody gives a fuck.
yeah, they grabbed him by the leg and pulled him off the field.
Yeah, they had like one of those. They had one of those big canes like they used to have in like the Apollo, and they just wrapped him with the cane and they pulled him right off. Yeah.
Wow! Exit stage left.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, with that, do we have anything else football related or anything else before we sign off here?
Well, I don't think so. We covered Joe Burrow. Let's hope Joe Shiesty gets back. It's fully healthy.
And the funny thing is, speaking of, because when you said that I was about to joke and say, if anything, they'll just make a clone of him. But you know what the thing is? If they could make these clones, they would have fucking cloned Tom Brady 10 years ago. If this was a real thing.
That's why I don't understand why, if you have access to clones like that, why would the Giants pay Saquon Barkley $11 million?
Exactly.
Clone, a third of the price or less.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy, and honestly, that's fiscally irresponsible, franchise malfeasance. You could argue, and maybe you know what. The Jets probably fucked up too by giving up the draft picks that they did for Aaron Rodgers, where they have a vaccine merchant and Johnson & Johnson
exactly.
who could have easily just brought him in for a visit, did a quick 3D scan,
exactly,
put that shit in the fucking printer, genetically clone him, then you got the body. And then you have the talent. Boom. This is stupid. Thank God he took a pay cut at least.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they got him.
They said, "Yo, bro, you see what we have in this lab here? We'll clone your ass. We don't gotta pay you nothing. We got you now, pal."
We already, when you blew your nose, when you blew your nose in that napkin, brother. You thought it was us being nice because we got free Johnson & Johnson product? My nigga, that shit went straight into a vial. My nigga.
Oh, before we go, one last thing
that petri dish already got an arm crawling out of it, my nigga. You better chill. We'll clone the shit out of you. And he fashions himself as a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, of
so
course.
You know what I'm saying? They hit him with that. My nigga, he panicked.
Hell yeah.
He panicked.
Now, before we go, I have to say something that I think you're not going to like.
I don't know.
But I got to be honest.
I know I'm not going to like it.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't know how I'm going to react, so.
Oh, well, I think I do know how you're going to react because I know you get very sensitive about these things, but I have to be honest. I appreciate Sauce Gardner and the gesture of the chain for Aaron Rodgers. That chain was whack, bro. That chain was whack.
Yeah, but it was free, man. What do you expect?
I expect Sauce Gardner, with all the chains and all the jewelry I've seen him rock, to provide a better chain. That's what I expect.
Okay, I understand where you're coming.
Much respect to Sauce Gardner. I'm not hating on him. I got a lot of respect for him. But that chain was very underwhelming.
I will say one thing. You're not totally wrong. What you're wrong is on this assessment. Aaron Rodgers is not. He's not going to wear a Migo style chain.
He's not going to wear that chain.
He might though.
Nah. No. He did.
Because I mean, okay. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Why are you doing this? You don't have to. You don't have to.
This is what you wanted me to do.
I'm not defending. Defend everything Jets. I'm not even attacking the Jets.
I'm not defending anything. I'm not defending anything. I'm just.
So you didn't think that chain was whack? You thought it was hot?
No, I wouldn't. This is what I'm going to say. That chain is not for me, but I don't hate it. If somebody gifted it to me, I would love it. I would rock the shit out of it. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, who am I? Who am I to judge somebody else's chain? But you know what I'm saying? I appreciate.
Oh, it's who am I to judge somebody else's chain? That's what you're going with?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know where my my girl took all my Post-its because I had the list of jewelry aesthetics that I was supposed to get last. I appreciate now. If it's too gaudy, then maybe dial it back. That's where I can't. I don't hate on under delivery. I hate on overdoing it. That's when I hate on chains. Now, we also have to appreciate the conscious effort of not giving Aaron Rodgers a chain that he's gonna look at it and be like, what is this? What is this? I'm not gonna rock this garbage. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? He knows he's an older white male who's not gonna exactly, want a Miko Hardman style chain. He's not gonna put him in a jet.
Ridiculous. I hope you know you sound ridiculous and you are willing to accept sounding ridiculous. But you sound ridiculous. You know this, right? You don't even have to admit whether you know it or not. I'm just gonna say I hope you know it.
I don't know, because I feel like if Joe Burrow was wearing that chain, we'd go, "Oh, Joe Shiesty, look at how cold he is." Brr.
Joe Burrow has worn some whack jewelry too.
Yeah, but nobody.
As a matter of fact, I think didn't he comment on? Wasn't he questioned about something? And they were like, "Is the chain real?" And wasn't there like a thing that went viral of him? The chain is real. That chain was real whack.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Nobody mentioned it, and plus he paid for that chain. He wasn't gifted that chain,
which makes it worse.
I don't know. I think we're.
Well, it doesn't make it worse that he was wearing the chain. It makes it worse that people were asking him about it like it was some hot chain. That shit was a regular ass chain. The Joe Burrow chain. That shit was a regular ass chain. I don't even know why it was a topic of conversation. Yeah. People acting like people in Cincinnati never seen the chain. Chain before. But I don't know why you're going to these great lengths to try to explain away why that chain wasn't whack. That chain was whack. That's the end of it. That's all I have to say. I'm not saying it was, again, I thought it was a nice gesture. Okay, all I'm saying is that if he was going to make a thing about gifting Aaron Rodgers this chain, I would have expected something more impressive.
But it was free. And also his chain is a sauce. He dialed it back. He recognizes.
Well, no, he didn't dial. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me he dialed it back and then use the excuse it was free, because then you're suggesting that he had some input in the design. If you're telling me it was free and that is the excuse, then fine, that's the excuse. But he didn't dial back shit.
What do you mean he didn't dial back? He wasn't gonna go crazy.
The chain? Did he have input on the design of the chain?
Make him a nice. He probably said make him a number 8. Iced out number 8. That's probably all he said. Do you think I'm wrong?
I don't know. All I know is that the chain was whack.
But okay, apart from that, we could argue there a better chain could have been had. But
But
was
that's all
your
I'm
issue?
saying. I don't know why
Your
you.
issue?
I mean, you're doing
Yeah,
a
but I
whole
mean,
circus acrobatic routine through hoops that are lit on fire to try to defend it when I'm not even attacking it. All my point was that I found that chain to be when I see him and he's breaking out, he's pulling out. Oh, I got you this gift and this and that. I'm expecting Sauce to drop a sick chain, and that chain was
yeah, I
that
mean,
that chain
I know
left
what
me
you're saying.
feeling completely empty.
I agree with your overall sentiment. What
So
I
then
will
you don't have
disagree.
to. So why are you defending? You don't have to
Well,
explain it
because this is
away. You don't have to. You don't have to save
this is what
face for
we
Sauce
do here.
Gardner. It's okay. Just because
Well,
he's a Jet doesn't mean you have to save
is
face
this
for
your
him for
first
no
day here?
reason.
Is this your first day here? This is what we do. We argue, all right?
It's
All
not
right,
my
Al?
first day here.
Let me.
I am the one who
Uh,
prefaced this by saying that this is going to
okay.
become a thing when it shouldn't have to be.
Okay. Well, I I agree with your overall sentiment.
So
Can you? No,
why do you feel the need to put on the Jets cape?
no, because that I'm not putting on the jet. I'm just offering the other side of the perspective.
What is the
Now,
other side?
was
That is
your
not
was
whack?
your issue with the actual chain, the chain, or was it with the pendant?
I mean, both.
Because I think the pendant was fine.
No,
I think
the
the
pendant
chain.
was
I
whack.
think I think the chain was whack.
They were both whack. They both under-delivered. I expect more from Sauce Gardner. If I was to gift you or anybody else a chain, it would have been some iller shit than that shit that he gave Aaron Rodgers.
Come on.
Come on, what?
Man, we can't do this. Come on, we can't.
We can't do what? I don't know why you. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to say. You're the one that feels this
Oh,
need to defend
no,
it
no,
when there's
because
nothing to defend.
well, but I'm saying like I don't have a strong enough feeling on it.
So
to,
why are you going on about it? If you don't have
I
a
don't know,
strong
because
feeling,
you felt
just
strong
feel the
because you
need
felt strong
to
enough to bring
fulfill
it
this
up.
role of Jets defender for no reason. Like,
I don't
that's
know,
it.
that's why I'm here. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I don't understand why you feel this need to defend everything. I'm just saying that was underwhelming. That was not a good representation. I was expecting some ill hard shit, and it was a mad whack, plain fake looking chain. That shit was whack. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying I seen the jewelry that Sauce wears, and I think that he knows a little something about some fly jewelry, and when I've seen him break that shit out, I was like, that's it.
Yeah, but see, my overall point is that
corny.
Aaron Rodgers is not a fly guy. He's not. That's not what he does.
You're making too many different points.
No. What my first point was,
Aaron Rodgers didn't buy the chain.
Yes, but my first point was I commend Sauce Gardner for the effort in terms of also on top of gifting, also going out of his way to be considerate.
You think that's what it was? You think that he put that much thought into, I don't want this to be I want it to be toned down because it's something that Aaron feels comfortable wearing. This is your belief?
Because he says, you know what, if he goes out and he's got like at the Knicks game and he's got the black T-shirt on, I think it's you. I think it's you sending him. You told him I moved, didn't you? Told him I moved, didn't you? No, but
he's in the other garage.
No, not that one. The other one. But but I'm saying it's like, obviously, the tongue in cheek. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know that this is a 40-year-old white man. He's not gonna wear something crazy. Let me give him. Maybe he'll wear this. If I make this subtle enough, maybe he'll wear this.
Why are you doing this? This sounds absurd. What you're doing.
Well, because this is exactly what happened, and I know that happened to be a fact, Jack.
Okay, I'll play along. I regret even bringing it up, but I had to be honest. I thought the chain was whack. But I will say something about
Well,
that.
I think one of the better chains
One of the better chains. What?
one of the better chains I've ever seen is that Miko Hardman chain. That shit's fire. Have you seen it?
Yes, and I cannot even wrap my mind around someone saying that chain is fire and also trying to do a whole gymnastics routine to try to somehow explain that the Aaron Rodgers chain was fire also. But what I will say about that video that I think you will appreciate is, well, maybe it's a double-edged sword thing, but my one takeaway, aside from thinking that the chain was disappointing, my one big takeaway from that video of him giving Rodgers the chain is how much bigger he is than Aaron Rodgers.
Yo, my nigga, that nigga's a pterodactyl.
Yo, bro, like I've always, when I think of him, when I think of Sauce, I know he's a bigger dude, especially when it comes to corners. I know he's a bigger, more physical corner. But seeing him like that out of pads, next to Rodgers, who I've never assumed Rodgers to be a humongous dude, but he made Rodgers look little. Like, he made Rodgers look little, or Rodgers made him look humongous, or maybe a combination of both. Because but that was my biggest takeaway was like, holy shit, man, this is a big motherfucker, man.
I mean, Rodgers is a legitimate 6'3".
That's the thing. Like, I would have thought, even if he doesn't make him look, even if he not only made him look slight, but he somehow made him look short.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get it, man. Yo, because I mean, obviously people, because when you get to the combine, all of that college website.
Yeah, all those inflated specs. They come out in the wash.
And Zach Wilson is a legitimate 6'2", documented in the combine. Aaron Rodgers is taller than him. Sauce Gardner made him look like significantly shorter.
Yo, he made him look small, like in every way. It wasn't just the size. He made him look short. I was like, I don't know if Rodgers is shorter than I thought, or if Sauce is just way bigger than I thought. But goddamn, he looked huge next.
He might be growing still, man. Like. And that's one of the things, honestly, that was the main reason why I was against drafting him in that draft last year, because I thought he was going to get crossed up, like based on like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle being.
Well, I mean, he was. If you saw that sneak preview of Hard Knocks, my guy Garrett Wilson was giving him the work. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but you're talking about Garrett Wilson. Yo, man, and honestly, Garrett Wilson was also one of my worries. Was like the way Garrett Wilson like throws his legs around. It looks mad like Bambi-ish. Like he looks almost like he's bow-legged when he's like running routes.
But well, maybe that's how he hurt his ankle today.
Oh, he hurt his ankle today? I'm telling you, I didn't hear any of this stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, it wasn't anything. It didn't seem like it was anything major, but he did. Let me see if I have it here. Yeah, he was running. DJ Reed broke up the play, but he was shaken up. He was jogging gingerly off the field toward a member of the training staff, and then he sat out the rest of the practice. Coach Sala commented saying, "We were just checking out his ankle. All indications are that he'll be okay. We're just going through procedure." It's not something I think we're concerned about.
Yeah, he's made out of rubber too, man. Because I remember it. I forget what game. I forget exactly what game it was where it looked like he was going to be out for a while. He got injured in I want to say the first or the second quarter.
That Rodgers looked like it was made out of rubber. Sorry, I apologize. That one was unnecessary. I apologize.
Yeah, rubber. Yo, rubber chain.
Do you imagine he's putting the chain on him? He stretches it.
Like somebody trying to grab his chain.
Like a tourniquet.
Yeah, he's in the car like trying to, and he's like gets carjacked, or like somebody tries to snatch his chain, and Aaron Rodgers pulls off, and it's like like fucking Wile E. Coyote, and he comes like flying into like
He slingshots the robber. Oh my god, that's great. Yeah, but man, Sauce,
yeah,
he's
but
that's a
yeah,
big
like I
kid,
don't
man.
know,
Holy shit, man.
yo, and yeah, man, and I don't know, God will hopefully, man, like let's hope that he has maintained his health and all that, but dog, and even Garrett Wilson, man, like for the missteps that Joe Douglas has taken, man, to what it looks like based on the trajectory that we're going to have, like he has top five receiver potential. Sauce already has like top two, top three. He's already top two, top three um, in the league based off last year. Honestly, that could be a sophomore slump or whatever, but that shit is crazy. Like considering that like another wide receiver was taking over him, another cornerback was taking over Sauce. That's crazy.
Yeah, your boy Joe Douglas, he did well. I mean, he did get fleeced in the Rodgers trade, but he did his thing last year in the draft. So I have to tip my cap, tip of the cap to Joe D. And we'll see we'll see what other tricks he has up his sleeve, because I don't think that they're finished putting this roster together yet.
You said he fleeced the Packers, right?
Come on, man. Come on. That
Well,
fucking
okay.
chain, that chain looked like it was made out of fleece.
That chain took a pay cut.
Oh no. Oh man. How is Mekhi Becton doing?
I don't know, man. I told you I haven't been able to.
I was concerned with
check
the last quotes I heard, man. That was concerning, man. That they were saying that we're just hoping to try to get it, that he can make it
Yeah, I
through a
understand,
game.
man.
I'm like, come on, man. He got that Zion Williamson.
Yeah,
going.
it's disgusting. Like, it's just yeah, but at least he tried to lose weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's disgusting. There's like people that are like rooting against these dudes, man. It's gross. Like, and it's always the same kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Like oh, yeah, we gotta get rid of him. His knees. And I'm like, yo, see, like your fan. Like, this is why I get mad with like in terms of like fans in general. It's like. And honestly, it's why I don't really like I was at the Mets game last 2 weeks ago, no, last week, and like when I went to the Jets game, it's like, you know what, I'd rather just stay home and watch these games. For me, having to deal with the people that are yelling stuff behind me that are irritating, smooth enough to comprehend like why what they're doing is idiotic. So it's almost like you frustrate yourself because you hope that people are better than that, but you know that they're not, and they're not going to understand why they aren't. So what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather watch. I got a brand new man cave coming soon. You know what I'm saying? So and the fact that the Jets are going to be on different time slots coming up this year, so I'm going to be all over the place. I'll stick to the comfort of my own home. I can slam stuff on the ground. Anything I break is mine. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. I'd rather not want to get into a fight, slap somebody up because they're cursing too much around my son. I don't. Like the actual product and the stadiums and all that. It's fun and all that. But you know what? I'm not trying to go anywhere to deal with all that madness. So.
Yeah. The only way I'll go to a game is if they're giving away Aaron Rodgers chains the way they were giving away those Cespedes chains. They gotta have like a promotional giveaway now where they give away the Aaron Rodgers number 8 chains.
How will they be able to tell which one's which though?
I don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem. No, but all kidding aside, imagine if they gave away the Mecole Hardman ones. That would be crack. That I would buy a ticket for that.
And then
to get a replica Miko Hardman
then
chain.
like afterwards put your own little self inside the chain. Ooh, that'd be titillating. I think my I only say that because my sister's boyfriend actually took a 3D picture of my son, and he's gonna try to make an action figure out of him. So
Oh, that'd
this
be
can
fire.
yeah, this can be done. So the only reason I said that is because it just so happens to today figure of it.
That'd be sick.
I'll look it up.
That'd be sick. I want to go to the Funko store in Hollywood to get a Funko made of myself, but
Yeah, last year my
shit.
wifey was gonna make one for me, but they were sold out. I guess they're very popular.
Yeah, I assume so. Well, next time I go out to the West Coast, I'm gonna hit it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And with that being said, that's gonna do it for another edition, another lifeless edition. Maybe we will have another guest. Maybe we'll have either a return, a triumphant return next week, or perhaps maybe it might be time to look for a replacement. We might have to look for a replacement. We'll see. We'll see how the week goes. I hate to replace the reigning champion, but the show must go on. But all kidding aside, I'm glad that he's he didn't get roped up in the Boston, whatever the guy's name was from Tallahassee, Boston Richie, I think it was. Scary stuff. But
Are you Boston Richie? No, I'm New York Chiefs.
Boston.
Oh yeah, we got the wrong guy.
And with that being said, I will send you off with this.
He's a dead carcass.
Indeed, he is, but not Cheeks. But
Maybe. The dead carcass.